G'day fellas and welcome to a casted game. We are here on the brand new patch for Age of Empires 4 and its expansion pack, the Sultan's Ascent. Today, we've got a wonderful matchup, a classic matchup already. The two title civilizations of Age of Empires 4's expansion pack face off against each other. The Byzantines, the Japanese. Let's introduce our players for today. In the south side of the map, currently sitting at rank 255 in the purple, playing as the Byzantines, we've got... I don't know. I'm going to call him Mr. Fishing Boat, because he's got a fishing boat in the town center. And on the north side of the map, in the color blue, playing as the Japanese, currently rank 78, we've got Divine DFP. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're enjoying this casted game, this casted content, make sure you leave a like on the video. Really helps out with the traction of the channel. Let's get into it. We've got ourselves two scouts early on meeting each other. Our fishing boat friend has already managed to grab 4 sheep early on, and we see that Divine is coming up short. I tell you what, man, I don't know what it is with these new maps, but I feel like I'm always coming up short with sheep. So often, I'll be moving out. Like, you can see the big route he's gone and done here, and yet he ends up with no sheep. Oh, just as I was saying it, look at that, 2 sheep coming through. A third one just down here. I don't think he saw it, though. I don't think he did. But you know the worst part is it looks like he's seen it, right? It looks like he's been in that area. I think it's because the sheep move. Look at the sheep. Like, I think we saw this sheep over here and it's moving. So I think it's always a little bit awkward, you know, if you're traveling past and you come past, there's no sheep, and then the sheep moves into that, and so you don't go back and you don't really double back. But anyway, have a look at this DFP. 5 villages on stone early on in the game. But look at the positioning of the forge on the outside of the map. I do like this a lot. You can see he was initially thinking about going close in. Wants to try and keep this space a little bit free. I suspect we might be looking at a potential landmark around this backside here. Town center, of course. Well, it's up to him where he goes. I'll be honest. I'm kind of expecting 3 TCs from him. I've mentioned it before, but I feel like the Japanese are a civilization that could 100% get away with 3 TCs. There's just so much that just, to me, says 3 TCs about it. I should probably start playing Japanese 3 TC. It feels like such a strong civilization for it, because 3 TCs mean more villagers working on farms, means bigger economy. It takes the best part of the Japanese and plays to its strengths, right? Like, we think about the English, it's the same kind of thing. They're really good on defense, so we naturally want to play them defensively. And here you're kind of taking that bonus and then saying, well, my economy's really good, so I might as well make more economy. Exactly. Very smart. Anyway, down on the south side, we see the Grand Winery now coming up 2 minutes and 50. Not a bad little timing, considering it's got the 2 cisterns up already. They are connected. Interconnected? Maybe intra-connected? No, we'll just say connected. It probably makes the most sense. Scout on the top side of the base. You will see a couple of sheep behind him as well. Meanwhile, he's managed to pick up some sheep. 6 sheep. So both of these players looking to split the sheep pretty evenly at this stage of the game. We'll ride on board with our Byzantine player, Mr. Fishing Boat, and see how he's... Oh, my lord. That could have almost been a dead scout right there, but he lives to tell the tale. 47 health. 1 more second underneath that town center, and that was a dead scout with 6 sheep going over to the Japanese. So let's talk a little bit about what we've got here today. The Byzantines, the Japanese. The Japanese are a civilization that I feel really excels in the feudal age. That's the thing about the Japanese. I feel like they're really good all the time. Good in the feudal age, good in the imperial age especially because of those samurai. The Byzantines, on the other hand, they've been a bit of a tough nut to crack. I think this civilization is strong in the late game. We know that much, that they're strong in the late game, but it's about getting there. It's about survival, and it's about getting to the late game on even footings. Because if you're not on an even footing with your opponent, and you both get to the late game, you're not going to be in a strong position. You know, if they've got control of the map, if they've got control of the gold in the middle of the map, because we are on Golden Pit, keep that in mind. You've got 2 gold mines, that's it. And then you've got to go into the pit. They just removed the trading post off this map. There used to be a trading post that spawned in the corner, which enabled players to trade across the back. They don't have that anymore. The gold in the center is the only gold you've got throughout this game. The age up now comes through. It's going to be that Grand Winery. He begins to move villagers over there immediately. Now, against the Japanese, you've got a couple of options for which mercenary you go for. But the most common one that you'll see is going to be the Keshiks. Keshiks do pretty well against the samurai in the feudal age, so I'd expect to see that out. But one of the things to note is we already see an archery range coming out here for our fishing boat player. So we'll have to see exactly how he looks to play it, but it's going to open up with archers, and we'll look to put on early pressure. Double broadaxe coming through for him as well. Looking to focus heavily on the economic side of things. Now, one thing to note as well, and this is the part that kind of I don't really like about this Grand Winery. You know, if we could switch the Grand Winery, it would be amazing. Into, not switch it, but if we could just give it a little bit of a buff. You know what I mean? You know what I'm talking about? I'm talking about the economic checks for the mill. That's what I'm talking about. I would love to see, it's a food drop-off building, give it those upgrades. The same way if you look at the Kura storehouse, it's got the upgrades for everything, right? Like you can get literally every upgrade in here from an economic standpoint. You can get your mining upgrade in the Kura storehouse. It's only a food, or actually it's not only a food drop-off, it's a universal drop-off. Is that what justifies it? Well, if that's what justifies it, then we should be justifying that, you know, I would stand by that. If the Grand Winery got that, I feel like that's a buff that is not overpowering, but still is nice to have, right? Because now it means that our fishing boat player is going to have to build a mill, and he doesn't want to build a mill. It's another 50 wood that he's going to have to do. Yeah, he just wants to avoid doing it. But on the other side of the map, Divine DFP now throwing down that second TC on the gold here. Feels a little bit late here. I didn't see the exact timing on it. He did gather up quite a bit of gold, or a bit of stone extra on the top. Doesn't look at this stage of the game to be going for that Daimyo Manor. But the barracks coming out. Might be heading into Samurai early, and perhaps that's part of the reason why he looked to open with archers, our fishing boat player, because he knows, oh, is that Keshix? That's Keshix right there. He knows that it's going to be Onibageisha coming out from the Japanese player, because you don't normally open samurai. You don't just, you know, bring out the big samurai, bring out the big guns immediately. Have a look at that. Have a look at that. How you doing right there? Double cancellation on that front line. Jeez Louise. Bit tough here for Divine. He's trying to find space in the base to get these down. He wants to make sure that he's got room for farms, and remains cognizant that if he brings these too close to the down center, he's going to be losing out on those farms. So now he's going to have to go in the back of the base, rushing it up 3 villages here. Now keep in mind, as I mentioned before, he's not going to be able to go into Onibageisha because his opponent has opened with the archers. So this is a really smart move coming out from fishing boat. I like this a lot, just simply because it forces your opponent to go into samurais, and they don't want to go samurais early, because if you go into samurais early, they're easy to pick off because there's only 1, 2 of them, 3 of them, and guess what? We've got Keshix coming in behind this. We know for a fact there's going to be Keshix on the way. And when you combine it with the Grand Winery as well, what that's going to mean... hey, I just thought of another buff for the Grand Winery. You know, we probably don't need to buff the Grand Winery. We should let it cook for a little bit. But anyway, I was thinking, you know, the bonus that the Abbasid dynasty get and the Delhi Sultanate get? Like, maybe you could just give that to the Grand Winery specifically, just to increase, like, the amount of food there are on the initial starting berries, right? And because you don't want to apply that to the entirety of the map. You just want... You know, you just want a little bit. Anyway, look, we can worry about Byzantine buffs in another video. Maybe they don't even need buffs at this stage. I reckon we let them cook for a little bit longer. They're going to be an absolutely killer civilization. We just got to let them. That's the whole thing. Samurai now going to be coming out here for him on this top side. Divine adding in farms around the town center as well. Aware of the imminent threat towards his livelihood, the barracks is out here, and the outpost is going to be looking to deny out the gold. We've seen this a lot from players. It seems like people have learned very quickly that the counter to the second town center is not actually killing it, but rather just nullifying the gold income, because most often we see that second town center on the gold. It's always in this position like this. Very rarely do you see it on the other side of the gold, because you could put the town center out here, but if you do that, I don't think a player is going to come in and look to throw an outpost over here, because it's kind of towards the back. But what they will do is kill it with a battering ram very easily. But I wouldn't be surprised if we start seeing 2 TC players look to do that. Onibageisha out as well with the samurai. Does tank up a little bit. Has managed to kill 1 worker so far this game, but make it 2. That's going to be 2 early kills here for the Byzantine player. Onibageisha, together with the samurai, no spears, a distinct lack of spears at this stage of the game. He's looking just to play an infantry style, but obviously it's going to take a while for him to ramp up with that villager count. Meanwhile, we just talked about battering rams and the prospect of not necessarily needing them, because you've got an... Oh, look at this. The outpost doesn't have enough range. Are you serious? Are you serious? Bro. Oh, man. Talk about unfortunate. Right there. I said battering ram. We got Hierosophons out. He's sieging down the house right now. Well, the outpost. Keshix coming around here. Archer numbers pretty high. Keshix maintaining that strong position, strong health bars as well. He's going to have more of them on the way soon. I'm loving this Byzantine opening coming through from the villager, from the fishing boat. Town center firing out. He's going to be careful here. Needs to guard up this Hierosophon. I'm almost tempted to say bringing a villager here with the Hierosophon might be a smart move, just to try and keep it alive, because he is doing absolute work here early on. DFP He's going to be in a little bit of trouble. No wall at the back here either, so it's going to mean the units are able to get through. He's going to have to evacuate the wood line. All of the farms evacuated. We can see there's nothing in here working, doing its magic. He's going to continue looking to try and take them out. Keep in mind this landmark was recently nerfed, which means that it's not producing as many farms as it once used to. More units continue to come in. He's up to level 3 systems behind this. He's only got the 1 villager on stone, and that's going to allow him to continue building up those systems slowly but steadily, adding more to the network. Just that ever so slight trickle. Combine that with the fact that every time you build a building, or construct a building, erect a building, especially like a Golden Horn Tower, you're going to be getting yourself a little bit of stone as well. So that's going to be helping you out too. But now, these numbers starting to build. Looking to pick up upgrades. Going to be going for fitted leatherwork. Very smart move against the Japanese, of course. Not really known for going into ranged units here. Could definitely work for him if he went into it, but he's already behind the 8 ball quite a bit when it comes to ranged units, and that's the thing. When it comes to ranged units, you've got to be very careful of tempo, because if your opponent's already got a big ball and you're trying to match them, it means you're going to have crazy levels of production. Now, Keshik's run through, looking to try and pick off a villager. There's one low health one in there. We'll get a couple more hits in there, but the infantry will be able to defend it. No spears in for the moment. Just going to be on a Bageisha together with the samurai. Exactly the combination that you're looking for. And now the Keshiks come through once again, not paying attention. He's under attack, under pressure from multiple fronts here. Keep in mind, this is his only landmark. Once this Kura storehouse goes down, outpost still doing work. He's got a nice little spot up here. And one thing I would love to see from Divine at this stage is walls. Just walls. Just a nice little wall across here. A little bit of a wall across the side. A wall from the gold, maybe just out to here. Just to try and control that narrative a little bit more. To prevent this from happening. Because you can see, it is repetitive. It is annoying. And the landmark has gone down. The second Hierosophon is now on the field as well. A little bit of damage on that first one. Down to 217 health. And the Keshiks have found a way once again. Enabling those villagers. Or rather, not enabling, but disabling those villagers. They're going to come back and look at this, baiting away perfectly. He needs to go into the walls. Like, I appreciate it's tough though, right? Like when you've got your enemy inside the base, dishing out damage non-stop to you, your main focus is on these units and minimizing the damage that it does. Hierosophons are a little bit exposed though. Only 4 villagers in the town center means that you're not really going to be able to pop them out on the side and look to try and take them out. The great thing about the Hierosophons is it's not that they're immune to villagers, but you've got a bit more reaction time, right? Like the villagers have to cover some distance before they actually get through. But now we've got ourselves quite the engagement. He's moving forward to the outpost, looking to try and take it down, but at the same time, we see the archers making their way on the backside. Villagers moving all throughout the base. He's got 15 inside. Should be able to take out these Hierosophons without too much of a trouble. Villagers looking to put up, is it a farmhouse? A farmhouse of all things. Keshik's doing a decent job. Look at this, the archers behind the base. Villager count now going to be in favor of our fishing boat player. He's done a wonderful job early on putting on the aggression, but have a look at this. The foot's coming off the pedal. The foot's coming off the pedal because he's going to castle age. I tell you what, these Byzantine players are slowly working it out. They're slowly understanding how to do it. Vill's going to be able to siege down the first of the Hierosophons. Second one, it's getting torched. Oh my lord, 2-shot right there. A little bit of fire damage out here. Whoa, look at the damage that's been done to these villagers. All of them such low health. Duke, jump back inside that town center. I'm going to be able to clean out that position. And now, for the most part, the samurai should be able to clean up the archers. But I got to be honest, man. This has looked like an absolutely stellar opening from our fishing boat player. Where is his landmark? He's got enough resources in the bank to throw it down. We're going to switch over. Macro police. Macro police. Can you guys, I need to report a crime. Someone's forgot to build lumber camps. How many lumber camps can you fit in between here? I'm going to go with one here, and probably a half here. Or you could just put your Golden Horn Tower down in the middle of it. Fair enough. I'll respect that. Meanwhile, towards that top side, villagers continue going down. He's taken out 19 so far this game. More than 10 villagers the difference. But one thing to remember, Divine DFP did not lose his second town center. He positioned it very well. I just realized that main town center got down to less than half health. That's kind of wild when you think about how close he is calling it on that. I'm kind of thinking that maybe the Byzantine player could have dropped another Hierosophon, maybe another 2, and finish this game. But not going to be able to do it. Just going to play the safe card here, play the percentages. Instead, look to age up to the castle age. We're right on board with him as that Golden Horn Tower is erected in the base of the Byzantines. Beautiful. More Keshiks going to be on the way shortly. Landmark victory still approaching, but it's going to take some time to repair this Kura storehouse. You can see I tell you what, you're heading back to square one with this. He's done a great job of keeping down the Japanese early and demonstrating that, you know, the Japanese 2TC, it's not all that in a bag of chips. We can say that much for sure. But the numbers are going to start to build here. Now, my suspicion, the way I'd like, you know what's funny is like we were just literally talking about 3TC. But I guess that goes to show, I think you've got to go 3TC when your opponent goes 2TC. You definitely can't do 3TC off the back of an opponent, you know, going for a Hierosophon rush like that. But let's talk a little bit about what the approach should be here from Divine. If you want to play the numbers. The correct approach here from Divine is a Hail Mary. A Hail Mary takes the form of a town center spam. So going into a third town center, I know I've already mentioned it here, is one of the best approaches that you could look for here. Because the idea is that your opponents hit Castle Age. It's going to take a little bit of time for them to build up. And you want to give them that time, but also you need to try and delay the game. So what are we looking for? We're looking for walls. That's really important. We want walls up. We want to try and be as defensive as we possibly can. So he's already getting those walls up, which are wonderful. But we'd like to see a third town center added in as well. Because the only way he's going to win this game is if he manages to outlast his opponent. He needs to survive the opponent. But guess what? He's not going to be able to do that if he just sits in the feudal age making lots of units. So you want to try and delay your opponent. So that would be my philosophy on it. Go for that Hail Mary. That's something that's quite common in a lot of strategy games. If you do get hurt early on and your opponent gains a good advantage, you need to throw that Hail Mary. You need to try and find a way back in, because if you play it standard, you're just not going to be able to catch up to them. But now, right on board with our fishing boat. Let's check in with him and see how he's doing on the Byzantines, a civilization that has recently received a slight buff, just a 50 stone buff. Now you can see the significance of those walls. You know, we just talked about getting them up, making sure that you've got a solid defense. This is part of the reason why. Get a gate up. Make sure that your spears have got a way through. Now going to be able to chase back these cavalry units. He needs to get this wall up. Needs to make sure that he is safe from this damage. And he's got a fair amount of units here. Villager will go down. But realistically, he can easily force this back. He will lose units on the kite back, though. That's the one thing. But cavalry have made it through. And now he's in a world of pain, because this is what he wants to stop from happening, right? Ideally, he just wants to try and play, you know, base defense. He just wants to be sitting there and like, I've got a scary base. Don't attack me. Rah, that sort of thing. And the reality is, if you're letting these cavalry units through, it's not going to be happening. And now at the same time on the south side, he is going for these walls. So he does know what the play is. The question is going to be about whether he's going to be able to achieve it or not. So this is a smart move from him. Slowly looking to wall up. And I definitely feel a bit of a, you know, the fact that he managed to survive, I think he probably should have gone into those walls straight away. I mean, that's if you can recognize it. We do see he's also slowly working towards that 350 stone. Going to add in a couple more farms. Needs to get this Kura storehouse up as well. Ideally 2 to 3 villages over here. Looking to get those, that Kura storehouse up in a couple of minutes. Now, I know I mentioned before Macro Police. If you'd like the Macro Police to visit you, I'm the Macro Police. Make sure you check out the Patreon. We've got plenty of content over there. We do lots of episodes on Macro Police. Not really. It's just normal coaching content, replay reviews. Plenty of stuff there from previous seasons that you can pick up for free. Of course, if you'd like to get your own coaching or see anything from the current season, it'll cost you a little bit. But go check it out. You might find something you like. Anyway, let's check in on that south side. And you can see that we're starting to build up that line of sight across the map now with the Byzantine houses. They do have the border settlement upgrade, and this is exactly what we want to see from Divine DFP here. The one thing that he needs to keep going, though, is that third TC has destroyed the wall. So we need to see all of these walls come up. You can even go for like 2 layers of walls. Absolutely fine. You do need to keep gates on it, though, because your infantry needs to be able to put on pressure in the event that you are getting sieged down like this. But really, really important that we do see that. Is he going to go for the third TC? He's got enough resources in the bank for it right now. You could throw it back down in the corner over here somewhere. Keep that gold a little bit safe. He's got all the resources he needs. Honestly, 8k gold is plenty of gold. Even with the Japanese, who are a little bit more heavy on the gold in the feudal age, I think it's still absolutely fine. But once again, he's going to get exposed. And this is just, you know, I don't know if it's laziness, but he was going for this wall, and then he just stopped making it. Does he think he's safe? Is that the angle that he's playing? Kura storehouse still not yet built. You got to be careful here as well. That's the other thing to note. Your town center hasn't got a lot of health left on it. So we want to try and prioritize that. Now looking to spam out those farms. I guess he's just decided that the Kura storehouse, you know, it's dead to him. I mean, we could probably do the math. I don't actually know what the math is on repairing Kura storehouses, but surely it's got to be worth, you know, maybe 200, 300 wood to get that bad boy back up. And it's only going to be 4 minutes before it pays itself off. And on top of that, then you've got a secondary landmark. And there's a lot to be said about the Kura storehouse that is positive, in my opinion. The numbers continue to build. And you can see Divine, he wants to go Castle Age, but he knows that he can't. Because if he goes Castle Age, he's not going to have enough units to defend here. So naturally, it's just about making sure he's pumping out the units. He's doing the right thing, though. The one thing, as I mentioned before, it always just comes back to that second town center. No gate. You can see we need to have that gate up because that gate is going to allow us to get through. But now we can see the Ghulam's going to be coming out particularly strong against samurais, especially in feudal age. They do have the double strike ability, so that first strike will cancel out the deflective armor. The second strike will hit. On top of that, once the samurai do get Castle Age, you're going to have access to Odachi, which is going to give you that little bit of a bonus. And now he will find that Castle Age. 9 villagers on the floating gate. Vills jump inside the town center. Not a lot of health on it. No Hierosophons at the moment. That's a big army, though, coming out for our Byzantine player. He's going to try and look to take down some farms on the front side here. Could work. Oh, villagers. Managed to escape. He's only lost a couple. Still behind on that villager count. The second TC did come up from his opponent. And now looking for a surround. He wants to try his best to defend in this position. It's going to be tough for him, though. He's going to be waiting for that Castle Age. And you can see the Honor Bagasha, together with the samurais, just tanking up everything. He's doing a pretty decent job, I'm not going to lie. I am liking this little position he's got here. The infantry is continuing to come out. 8 spears in the mix as well. He's able to hold for the moment. Have a look at this. And once you've taken out the front line, you can pretty much fall back and let the town center deal with the ranged units here. Because otherwise, you're just going to get kited to the ends of the earth. And that's exactly what he does. The right moves coming out at the right time. Divine DFP. Have we got a comeback on the books right here? It was looking a little bit sour early on, but he reaches the Castle Age, and with that, perhaps he reaches a new paradigm. Is this it? Are we seeing a real Japanese comeback on the cards here? We'll have to wait and see. Second TC has been added in for our fishing boat friend on the south side of the map, so he's going to be scaling. He's going to be keeping parity with his opponent, and relics are starting to get picked up as well. Keep in mind, 4 relics on the map, or rather 5 relics on the map. He's going to be looking for that 4th relic very, very soon. And the Hierosophon is out. Keep in mind, with that 3rd landmark online, it's going to make it a little bit more difficult. It's going to make it slightly more difficult to take out your opponent. But it's been put in a little bit of a forward spot here. Kind of open towards that front side. Has looked to put the first Yorishiro in the forge. Definitely the right call here. I think this is 100% the right call. I think there's a world where you can probably put the first one in production as long as you're happy to delete that production building when you don't need it. Because it's important that all of your Yorishiro are doing something. You know, you want them to always be adding something to you. And having slightly more production isn't going to be it, Chief. Now, Hierosophon putting on the hurt. Townsend are going to be firing out here, but it looks like this TC will be going down. The first landmark under pressure. Hierosophon still dishing out the damage, but the Mangonel is here. Pops a little bit of damage. He's got to be careful. The Cataphracts can charge on top of that. He's got the Vills to repair here. Let's see if he goes for the charge. He could look to try and bait the spears out off the first one. Off the first charge of the Cataphract. He's going to try and dive in. Spears do a wonderful job, though. There we go. The charge on top of the Mangoes. They cop a lot of damage when they do it, though. And now the villager's going to be pulled to repair the Mangonel and immediately thrown back to the Daimyo Manor. He's got 0. He's got 0 wood. He's got no wood in the bank. He's run out of wood. Insufficient wood. Mangonel holding. Okay, all right. Looks like he's going to be okay. Hierosophons, you got to be careful, mate. Those things will go down. Mangonel is holding. Look at this. Now, he could actually just push up to the Mangonel and just stand on top of it with these ranged units. It's a little bit... You got to be a bit scared doing it, though. Big mango shots. He's held. Divine DFP with a miraculous Japanese hold. Are we witnessing another defensive masterclass coming out from a Japanese player? It wouldn't be the first time this week. We've seen this civilization repeatedly just pull out absolute insane defenses. Look at the population difference right here when it comes to the military. 12 versus 62. Is there a world where he comes back into it? Take a look at the middle of the map. Oh my lord, have a look at the middle of the map. You've got a cistern network, an aqueduct network the size of King Kong. I don't know. I'm trying to think of how big this aqueduct network is. I'll say it. It's big. It's really big. It's bigger than we expected. Anyway, outpost coming up on the front line. Town center not being repaired up. Ideally, you want 1 to 2 villagers just repairing this up all the time. Because when you're repairing with 10 villagers, it's a lot less efficient than when you're repairing with 2 villagers. So you want to try and maximize that efficiency, and just slowly getting that that health back up of the landmark definitely helps out on that defensive angle. But now the farming economy is starting to take off here. He's building up a pretty decent number. He's still only on 800 food a minute. And I think this is largely because these villagers were idle for the most part of the first part of this minute. All right, towards the middle of the map, the keep has gone down. Vanguard Island placement coming through for our Byzantine player. Plenty of farms as well. He's having a field day out here. Have a look at this. Olive groves absolutely everywhere. Doesn't have the second layer of olive groves around this backside though, but it's slowly oh my lord. 3,700 olive oil. So what are you going to be doing with your olive oil today? I mean, he could be saving it for Imperial Age. That could be a thing. I don't know if saving it for Imperial Age is the right choice. I remember I did that once. I wasn't saving it. I was just, well, let's just say I forgot about it. Yo, that missed. And I made like 8 nest of bees. I'm not even kidding you. It was just from 0 to 8 nest of bees in the blink of an eye. You know, you've got your 100% production. You get your extra little bit of production from the blacksmith as well, from the forge. You get your military academy, and you're producing those nest of bees very, very quickly. So that could be a world that becomes a reality. Have a look at this. Perhaps that's what we actually see. Treb's looking to work down these landmarks. You can see Divine DFP in a little bit of trouble here, but I think Mr. Fishing Boat has kind of realized that he can't push into this. It's dangerous, right? Like, the mangonels are a massive threat. The town centers provide that cover fire. The reality is, if you do that, there's a risk that you get repelled again. But now that town center going to be under threat. I don't think he's going to be able to repair through this one. With that TC going down, he's going to try and pull vills, and you can see, you know, this is just the consequence of a lack of foresight here from Divine DFP. So even though he's a great player, it just feels like one of those things where it's like, this was easily avoidable. You know, you don't have to pull 27 vills, 17, that was close. You don't have to pull 17 vills to try and take, or to try and repair this TC. You could have just pulled 2 minutes ago, because this was foreseeable. We knew that the Daimyo Mineral was going to be under threat. Your opponent's been looking for it all game, since the 10th minute. Keshik's coming through on the backside. Landmark is indeed coming through. It's got to be in the middle of the map. Oh my lord. Is he going to do it? We could even see Hui Hui Pal's coming out right now. I tell you what, the Byzantines are starting to look scary, guys. I don't know how 50 stone turned into a buff this big. There is a world where we see the Byzantine win rate climb from 40% to 42% with that buff. Maybe not 42%. Maybe like 41%. I'm just kidding. It could be 50. It could be more than 50. And still sitting underneath the town centers. You can see how scared he is to come out. He does have the 3 Springles, which make it... He's got enough... Oh, gosh. Look at the Keshiks now. Behind enemy lines. Not a lot of spears here to deal with. Only the 3 spears. He's looking to pick up the extra melee attack, but the new age begins. Let's have a look and see what he does. He's spent it. He's spent all of his... Where is he? Is he put it on ghoul arms? Okay, he's spent it on ghoul arms. Fair enough. Keshiks have broken through. Looking for more upgrades. No elite upgrades just yet. There we go. Roller shutter triggers. Greased axles on the way as well. He wants to push in. He wants to try and hit his opponent before the opponent can react. That's what the roller shutter triggers are for. The greased axles as well, going to help them out. Very smart moves here. Now the Shinto priest on the front. Remember, he's got behind this. Oh, we got stone wall starting to come up. Oh, we sieged down the Yorishiro in the forge. We know it was in there. That's definitely one. I don't know where the other Yorishiros have gone. I don't actually see them. Did he lose them? I thought I saw 2 Shinto priests, which would mean 2 Yorishiros. Oh, he put it in the town center. He's put it in the town center, so he didn't open with it in the town center. He manages to keep the TC alive, by the way. And now the Springles pushing forward. Don't have their roller shutter triggers just yet. But we got ourselves a little bit of a heal off. Oh, no. 2 Springles into the side. The Keshiks managing to dive through. It's been a slow and steady death, but Divine DFP looks like he might be on his last legs here. The Daimyo Manor looks like it will be going down. Villagers nowhere to be found. Will repel the Keshiks, but once again, they're just going to go head into the back of the base. And now the Springles with their roller shutter triggers able to take out the enemy Springles. Divine DFP under threat. The second landmark's gone, and it's just going to be a good game right there. It took a while for him, but the Byzantines come out victorious in this game. Wow, I tell you what, I feel like it was tough for Divine, but he managed to hold on for quite a while there. I think he could have had it if he just went for that 3rd TC. Ladies and gentlemen, make sure you go check him out. I'll leave a link in the description, and I will catch you guys in the next one.